Join Chelsea Brubeck, certified personal trainer and nutrition coach, as she explains what low-intensity cardio is, how to make sure you're in zone 2, and why it's a simple, effective way to burn fat and support your brain health.
First, let's define here what we mean by intensity. Intensity here refers to the level of demands that a given activity places on the body. More specifically, the rise in heart rate, respiratory rate, and overall physical exhaustion. This lower intensity cardio is usually performed at about 40 to 60% of your maximum heart rate. Now, there are a lot of formulas out there to calculate this max, but the most accurate way to calculate this would be through a medically graded exercise test. Now, these are usually done on a treadmill while you're hooked up to an ECG to monitor your heart rate, blood pressure, and oxygen consumption during a VO2 max, as you are increasing the intensity during this test. However, for those that may not have access to the testing or some sort of heart rate monitor, one simple way of defining the intensity level we're at during some type of cardiovascular exercise that I like to use is a good old classic talk test. Are you able to carry on a conversation during this exercise? How are your breathing levels? If you were on the phone with somebody during this time, would they notice you panting and having to stop mid-sentence to catch your breath? If you can maintain this conversation without losing your breath, and the person you're talking to may hear you breathing a bit, but doesn't notice you panting too much, this indicates we are sitting in that low intensity cardio range. A couple activities that may count as this low intensity cardio would be something like a brisk walk, an easy cycle, or maybe even a light relaxed swim. Some of the major benefits of this include the increased ability to burn fat during this stage. A lot of people think running is the key to losing weight, but what most don't realize is that it can be way easier than that. Hitting that 30-minute mark of this consistent low-intensity cardio training, especially in a fasted state, will be your most effective way in burning fat. And this is because of the fat oxidation process, or in simpler terms, your body's process of burning fat for energy. At a higher intensity, your body breaks into stored glucose for energy because carbs burn at a faster rate. So staying in this lower intensity cardio mirrors the pace at which your body metabolizes fat, allowing it to consistently tap into the places we especially want to lose. It also increases blood flow and overall oxygen delivery to the brain, promoting mental clarity, energy, focus, stress and mood regulation, and preventing cognitive decline. This steady state, lower intensity cardio is believed to actually lower inflammation in the brain, overall supporting the prevention of neurodegeneration. The recommended amount is typically around 150 minutes per week. Now, if we want to split this up to hit at least that 30-minute mark per session, then we could distribute this over a total of 5 days a week, 30 minutes per session. Zone-based training is a stage-based cardiovascular training program that is most commonly split into 5 zones based on your level of intensity. Zone 1 starts at a very light intensity, such as a light stroll or a warm-up before a workout. You're able to carry on a conversation and feel very little stress on your body during this time. No signs of being out of breath or strained in any way. Zone 2 is where we enter that fat burning stage we talked about for this lower intensity cardio training. A brisk walk, maybe even a super light jog, still being able to hold a conversation without getting too out of breath. Zone 3 is where we up this intensity a little bit more to a comfortable run. Talking definitely gets a little bit choppier and out of breath, but not completely impossible. Zone 4 is where we hit pretty harsh levels of intensity. This may be where we start to hold our breath during those super heavy lifts, or really push ourselves during that spin class. Talking is out of the question at this stage. More so results in one-worded bursts or maybe even grunts. When we hit zone 5, that is the maximum amount of effort we can possibly put out. I'm talking a full speed sprint, hitting a personal record for your squat max, or participating in some high intensity interval training. This zone is short-lived and is not sustainable to maintain in either zones 4 or 5 for extended periods of time. Lower intensity training falls into this zone 2 training. And as I mentioned before, there are so many benefits to this zone 2 training, as this really is where you will find yourself being able to burn fat most effectively, along with all of its benefits to overall cognitive function. It also boosts neuroplasticity, helping maintain the brain's hippocampus, the memory center of your brain that typically shrinks with age. This happens because zone 2 training promotes mitochondrial biogenesis, which in simpler terms means your body makes more mitochondria, aka the powerhouse of the cell, allowing the neurons to fire in your brain faster and more efficiently, helping you become more resistant to stress, feel more alert, creating a sharper memory and increasing your learning capacity.
We hope you enjoyed this video. To access a free Mastering Brain Health course led by Dr. Richard Isaacson, visit ind.org/learn. And to directly contribute to IND's research efforts, visit ind.org/donate.